Hello everybody and welcome to a new Minecraft tutorial. Today's tutorial will be working on this automated kelp farm that is both compact and modular. So to give you guys a little explanation on how this works, basically we have our kelp growing in the bottom and it's allowed to grow 3 more blocks higher. Once it hits the 3rd block, it'll be observed by the observer, which will power this solid block, which will power the redstone, which will power the piston, which will break the stock, and then this current will flow and allow it to fall into the hopper, which will push it into the chest. Now, because of 1.13, we don't have to worry about blocks sinking to the bottom. It will float to the top, which will get caught by this current, and it'll drop it into the hopper. So that's pretty simple. Kelp does grow fairly slowly, so I'm going to change the game rules, and random tick speed, and we'll set this to a value of like 2500 just to see this work. And you'll see it grows there, it goes out, and it is fairly quick. And there you see there, it just keeps on going. Now to build this, all you need are 9 blocks, or 9 different types of blocks. You'll need glass or any outside block that you'd like. You'll need water, you'll need kelp, you'll need stone or any solid block to carry a redstone signal. You'll need a hopper to collect your items and a chest to put your items into. You'll need a piston to break the kelp, you'll need an observer to observe the kelp, and you'll need redstone to power everything. So we're going to go over here, we're going to build ourselves this little contraption, and do mind that this is currently a 1x1 kelp farm, 1x1x3 I should say, but this is entirely modular. We can grow this out as far as we like, we can grow this up almost as tall as we like. There are rules of diminishing returns in that sense, which we'll go over in a little bit, but let's go ahead and let's build this out. Basically what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make our 1x1 block, or 1 block area for our kelp to grow in. We're going to go in here, we're going to drop our piston right there. We're going to grow this up, and then we're going to put 1 glass on top of the piston, and we're going to take our observer, face it towards the water, and then we're going to grow the glass up to here. We're going to break this one here, and this one here as well. We're going to put our chest in like so. Then we're going to put our hopper going into the chest, and then we're going to put glass around this so that nothing falls out. Now with that, we're going to work on the redstone. All you need to do is put a solid block behind the observer, put a solid block behind the piston, grab some redstone, drop it right there. Now all the redstone is complete. All we're going to do is we're going to drop some water. We need, thanks to 1.13, we just need 1 block. Whenever kelp grows, it'll turn the flowing water into a solid source block. We'll go down here, we'll drop our kelp in, and everything is set. Again, we're going to speed up the random tick speed to about 2500, and you can see it's flowing and working. One thing that we forgot to do in this is put a cap on top of our farm so that all this kelp doesn't fly out. But there you go, we'll set it back to 2500 and we can watch it grow. I mentioned that we can make this modular, and I'm going to demonstrate that by doing a 6 block enclosure. We're going to do the same thing as we did over there. We're going to take our pistons, put them all in the line here, build up our glass. That is 6, right? Yeah, 6. And then put glass on top of this. And then have observers coming on this side. Actually, we only need 1 observer. Technically, I'll explain more about this in a second. And we need to break all this glass so that we can put our hoppers in. Put our chest down and hoppers into our chests. And then just glass to cover it all up. Now with that all in place, we got to put in our water. Again, we only need to cover the top block. You'll see that everything gets filled in. Then we'll drop our kelp down here. And that is our farm. That is not our farm. We didn't do the redstone. All we got to do is put 1 block behind that, put a block behind every piston, and then do a line of redstone. And now it is complete. We'll increase the tick speed once again, and you'll see that our farm is working great. I continue to forget to put a roof on these guys, which you'll want to do so that, you know, you don't have kelp flying everywhere. But let's go ahead and change that value once more, and you'll see we got ourselves plenty of kelp coming in. And yeah. Now, one problem with kelp is that the growth is unpredictable. It can grow up to 25 in height, I believe, but however, that is the maximum height. There is also a random point at which the kelp just says, hey, I'm not going to grow anymore. I've noticed that it's rarely ever one, but it's happened. To keep this from happening, normally you don't have to worry about it because your block will come up here, and anything that's growing like that one right there, you'll see that if we drop some kelp in here, it'll break it down and then it'll start growing as it needs to be. However, the problem with this is when this block right here, this kelp does not grow to its full height, then your whole system is broken. I have remedied this by replacing all of these with observer blocks. And then this will greatly reduce the chance that your blocks will not get to full height. It is a little more expensive, however, I believe that it's worth it in this case. I mentioned that we can make this taller, and I've done so. I've increased the height by 2, so our kelp can now grow to 5, and it's not as pretty, and it's a little bit more expensive as we have to put more observers in, but we have observers going to redstone, which is on top of observers, which go into our block, which power this redstone, which will power the pistons. So as you'll see here, we're gonna set our random tick speed up again. And as you can see, we're getting plenty of kelp. It's flowing in as fast as the hoppers will allow it. In fact, it can't keep up with the random tick speed, so we're gonna set this back to 3. And you'll notice that a lot of the kelp gets caught here. I'll explain how I fixed this problem in one of my episodes that's not been released yet on the Mindful SMP. But I believe you can waterlog these actually. Maybe not. Anyways, scratch that. There's another way to fix this, and I'll explain that in a little bit. However, I challenged myself saying that we can make this pretty much as tall as we want, and I think I've done that. This is 17 blocks high. It's the same system, except for on the back, it's definitely not as pretty, definitely more expensive, as we have a whole row of observers. Basically, we could take out the middle and put redstone line in between each one. However, at this point, I don't think cost is an issue. So we're going to go ahead and, as we have before, increase our random tick speed, and let's watch this baby grow. Now there is a tremendous amount of lag behind this many observers. Did I just get incredibly unlucky, or I don't know what's going on? Let's go ahead and help this out and do that there, and you'll see everything gets broken. And again, we didn't put a roof on our build. We'll do so here, and you'll see that it is constantly picking up kelp, and it is working. The only problem is, as I mentioned, there's a chance that it'll randomly stop growing, and the longer your stock is, the more likely that's going to happen. So at some point, growing it as tall as it can just doesn't make any sense, because there's a good chance that it won't make it to the top. If all of these stalks do not make it to the top, then your farm is essentially broken. So I don't recommend making this tall. However, if you'd like to, you can make it this tall. You can make this 100 blocks in that direction and just get yourself a massive amount of kelp. Now, I'll leave that to you, but we are getting great amounts of kelp right now, and I just broke my farm. But yeah, things are great. Things are great. Anyways, there you have it. You can have a 1x3 kelp farm. You can have a 3x6 kelp farm. You can have a 5x6 kelp farm. You can have a 17x6 kelp farm. You can have as many kelp farms as you would like, and it's fairly compact. And especially something like this where we have it 17 high, it's still only 5 blocks long. Well, I was mentioning earlier that there was a way to kind of fix these kelps from getting caught, and let's go to a smaller one so that it's a little bit easier to work with. And you'll see that we have a bunch of kelp that's just caught up here. Basically, the way we would fix this is first we'll extend our chest out like so. We're going to pull this out to this level here. And then we're going to put our glass all the way out to here. We're going to grab all of that. And then we're going to let it flow like so. Break all of these. And then just put in regular glass there. This will allow... basically none of the kelp will get caught because let's get this guy out of here. He doesn't want to go. Anyways, this will allow no gaps between the hopper and this guy really doesn't want to leave. Basically the hopper and the glass or the water, there's no way for the kelp to get caught. So we're going to increase our tick speed once again. And you'll see that all of our kelp gets thrown into there. And flying squid. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Nothing gets caught. This is completely lossless. And in no time, we'll have our chest completely filled up. Well, there you have it. We have plenty of different ways we can make this kelp farm work. But regardless, it's compact, it's modular, and it's completely automatic. You know, if you like this farm, if you like this tutorial, and you'd like to see more of this kind of tutorials, you know, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. You can also let me know by liking this video and subscribing. And yeah, that's basically all I got for today. So I think I'm done here. Have a good night. See ya.